Welcome to Financial Freedom for All, where we help you master your money and live your dream one episode at a time. My name is Rose Okechi-Balaso, M for Money. Yes. And today we will be talking to you about the power of a first step. And with me today, as one of the guests who will be speaking to you, is my amazing colleague and friend, Onyinye Okocha. Onyinye, could you please introduce yourself to us as well?
Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to be doing this episode today. Like she has said, my name is Onyinye Esther Okocha, and I'm one of the executive vice presidents at Genistar, one of the new ones.
Awesome. Thank you, Onyinye. Quite exciting to have you on this podcast today because we've got something really, really awesome. And that's the power of a first step. Let's really begin, with all of this conversation. Let's start with a little bit about you when it comes to if you are naturally a decisive person. Okay. Or you are someone that kind of overthinks or even take a little bit of time to think about, a decision before you make it. Let's get in like that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm the spontaneous one.
Thought about
Absolutely spontaneous.
Yeah.
It seems right. It sounds exciting. I'm in. Yeah. In fact, I've already stepped in first before I then begin to say, okay, girl, how are you going to do that?
Yeah.
And to be honest, that has helped. Because if I had taken time to process this business especially, I wouldn't be here.
Okay.
So that's me. And you?
Right. Moment of truth. I'm not one of those spontaneous persons.
Really?
Yeah. Especially when it has to do with something that I have to be very responsible for, like business. Yep. I would usually take some time. I would actually want to kind of look at it and see, would that be something that would have more like a future? Would I be able to sustain it? Yeah, but I like tiny bits of steps. I don't like the massive, step around things. So this topic actually makes a lot of sense to me because I'm one of those ones that would want to get it started as simply as I can and then begin to compound as we progress. So that's opposite her.
So you guys are in for a treat.
So let me just talking about first steps. What would that also look like for you when you hear the word first step, especially for our audience today? Yeah.
So first steps, like the words actually say, it is the first thing you do, the first step. Just taking that baby step. I would always say, do it afraid. Right? You don't have to have it all figured out. To be honest, nobody really, nobody that has done anything phenomenal actually has it all figured out when they start. But they take the bold move to just go ahead. I would always say that, just do it because if you don't, you actually have already failed.
That's right.
But if you take that first step, you just may get it. And of course, you shouldn't just go blindly, yeah? You need to strike that balance, take calculated risk, seek information, but don't over-process it. Don't overdo because you don't want to have that analysis paralysis.
Oh, wow. Did you guys hear that? I like that. I'm actually writing it down. Analysis paralysis. Very, very important because, when she said about striking the balance, I really love that, Onyinye, because sometimes people also kind of take a long time or they even quickly run into it. And then because they run into it very quickly, they rush out very quickly as well. So we've got that balance. But what our emphasis is on today is just don't stay the way you are, make some movements, take that first step, whatever it is. You never know how it will work out until you do. So, but let's talk about a little bit, with people's behavior, how they act around things. Do they act when they are setting or do they get setting and then act?
Look at children. They are always very anxious to explore.
Right.
That's why they actually grow. So let's reverse it, right? If only we can just be childlike again with sense.
Yep.
Okay, now talking about first steps. You know I like gist, right? I like to get up close and personal.
There she
So
is.
tell us.
Yeah.
What were your first steps in Genistar?
In Genistar?
Yes.
Wow, such a deep question. Okay. and some of you definitely have heard this over and over again, but I like to once in a while revisit it. How did I actually get into Genistar? For me, It was through my husband, to be honest, because he is the spontaneous one, just like you, So he's the one that will quickly see an opportunity and go, should we talk about it? So that's how he would usually bring it to me. And then I heard about this one, and I heard the fact that it's wrapped around education, which is something I'm really passionate about. And that's because my background is in teaching as well. Yeah. So whenever I hear that something has got some level of knowledge transfer in it, I'm in, and that was how he got me in. And because I'm very passionate about people being literate around their finance, around whatever else it is. But this time around, the business is more focusing on finances and helping people to become more literate around it. That was why I really opened my mind to, you know what, let's get going. And that's really how I got started. But my start was also rapid, I would say, because once you find your passion, the rest is you just keep running off. Yeah, because and that's part of the things that we are going to be emphasizing in this conversation today, because sometimes people don't let themselves to dream again. They don't let themselves get excited again. And I like it that you talked about the children's behavior as well. I'm kids teachers, and I see that a lot in children, So there's no lots of overthinking, overanalyzing, and that's because they are excited. Joy is a fetcher, right?
Oh, yes, it is.
So when you are excited about something and you are passionate about your excitement, guess what? You won't waste time on it. You won't live on it. You will get on and give it a go. All right. If it fails, at least you have given it a go. That's what makes all the difference. So yeah.
You sound very like you had this all figured out.
Oh,
but I'm sure
Something might have actually almost stopped you from taking that first step. So
honestly,
would you like to tell us about that?
Yeah. One of that is time. Because, one of the things you will realize is that in this part of the country, the UK, to be precise, we are all busy. In fact, I say to
24
people,
hours is not enough.
I usually say to people, did you say you are not busy? Then you are not in the UK. Yeah. You have to be busy because everyone has got something going on for them in one way or the other. So one of the things that could have really, that's kind of made me wobbly, or if I gave it a lot of thinking, I wouldn't even be here today, would have been time. What time would I be able to make out for this extra income opportunity that I'm being presented to? I work from 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 and that's like the basic, most active part of my day. Yeah. And then when I get back home, I've got 3 children to cater for, and I have to just barely get some sleep and jump out the next day. Wow. Yeah, so I knew I needed to really overcome myself with that fear of, will I have the time for this? And just make the first move. And guess what? I did.
You are today.
Yeah.
The M for money.
I know. So it wasn't all what we planned. Okay. We decided it. And that's the thing. The excitement doesn't help you figure everything, but it helps you to make the first move. And then it just keeps opening up. Yeah. Like that. And thank you, Onyinye, because, you've actually kind of asked me a lot around the first steps and all that. But for you, was there anything, because you are actually the go out and go all in. Did you find anything that made you wobbly a bit in your decision, or did you just work it out?
Well, my spontaneous nature made me say yes, but my personal circumstances were pretty tricky.
Okay.
As a single mother of my daughter was really poorly at that time.
Yeah.
So beyond the fact that I worked in the health sector, which was very demanding.
Okay.
I worked with a GP out of hours service.
So time
was really a thing. Yeah. And guess what? Even the time you want to rest, you see the weekends, public holidays, when was our most active time.
Wow.
So there was really no time. And that's why when I mentioned that, this opportunity, it took a while. It took months. The person reached out to me, I think from November.
Yeah.
I canceled 6 appointments and eventually had the first meeting at the end of January. So it took a while. So time was there. And like I said, my daughter's health too was also pretty distracting. There was just too much bills, so many things to do. So I'm like, where am I supposed to have the time to meet with somebody?
Yeah.
But eventually I did create that time. Then the next thing is, after making that first step to actually see the opportunity, there on that first appointment, I did what should people do on the second appointment. Took my policy up, said I wanted to sign on because for me,
Awesome.
when I see something, I'm like, I don't give myself the opportunity to overthink it.
Yeah.
And that really is for me. Was I afraid? But I thought about it. How much was my cost?
Yeah.
What was £49 going to do to me? And if I lose that, why not? And that's why I'm here today.
Oh, wow. Awesome. I like that because that nicely ties into where we are actually going to be going into to look at some of the key things that people would usually react to or respond to when it comes to taking the first steps. And that these are things like fear, doubt, decision. Yeah. So those keywords are, should I call them the first steps killers? Okay, they kind of really stop you from. So talk to us a little bit around fear. How would somebody that is a bit scared, worried, or even have some doubt in them, how could they really overcome and how did that work out for you?
Okay, let's start with fear. I heard some years ago, I heard that the real definition of fear is false evidence appearing real.
Oh, wow.
So for
Another time bomb there,
for
guys.
the most part, right, it's not as deep. It's not as deep, right? Just do it, right? Like I would always say, strike the balance. I think a lot of the fear stems out from lack of knowledge.
Okay.
So find some knowledge around it. And you don't need too much knowledge because, like I said before, paralysis, too much of information will finish you.
Yeah.
So just find the basic and does it look right? Yeah. Step in. Take the calculated risk, then commit to getting better as time goes on. Now, that is decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 stages of decision. Initially making it, then deciding and committing to staying through and keep going. Then, of course, there's sometimes that they say, doubt will come up.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, nothing good comes easy.
That's right.
There's a threshold of resistance you need to go through. And to be honest, finances is a very touchy topic. So you would have a lot of naysayers. When I got in, I was all excited. Oh my God, I'm bringing in my community members. Let's come and do all of it. But guess what? The reality of the situation is, like they say, see, prophet does not have honor in his own home.
That's right. That's right.
Most times, those around you are the ones who will be like, really, you started again, right? So you do another thing. They will scam you. They will do all those things, yeah. And that can have a way of putting some doubt into you. And that's why it then ties to the power of the way to go away from the doubt is how do you counter it?
Yeah.
Strategic connections, strategic people, then always remember your why. Go back to your why. And for me, I personally believe that whatever I touch succeeds. Because what you demand is what you get. There is fear. There was fear. There was self-defeating thoughts. There were doubts. But can you go past it? Because if only you just try, yet again, you just may win. But if you don't, you failed already. So that's it for me.
Wow. I'm just gonna really chip in also on that side of decision, because they said the studies that has it that most people overestimate risk and underestimate the ability to adapt. Yeah. Okay. So that's one of the things that's actually people are holding on to what they've got now, what they can see, So and that's one of the things I had to really say to myself. Because especially when you come into the UK or you come into any country at all where you are, obviously that change thing is the biggest thing. Yeah. You have come into a new environment. There's a lot to learn. Yeah. There's a lot to adapt to as well. So but in the course of that, you also want to make your life better. Because that's where it actually started for me. I really wanted something different. I wanted, and that's the first reason why we even made the transition in the first place, okay? Yeah. You wanted something better for yourself, for your children, and even for their own children, right? So you've come in now, why are you settling for less? Why are you sitting down and refusing to take that step that could actually lead you to? And that's because people hold on to what they said, a bed at hand is better. Yeah, so you're holding on to that, and you'd have to let go actually for you to get more coming in for you, right? So that's one of the things that
I like that point. In fact, I think it
yeah.
ties to the next thing I would
Yeah.
like to ask
Yeah.
you, because you're saying, "Oh, life has been better."
Yeah.
So take us up close and personal. What was actually going on in your life when you first came into contact with Genistar? Take us on that journey.
Wow, when she speaks, she goes up close.
Yes,
Okay,
I like gist.
right. She likes that, guys. Okay, so what was going on in my life? I was just one rose in the classroom, going on with. I love children with special needs. It's something I came to encounter here in the UK, and I was working as a teaching assistant in a school like that, and I was really in that space. And I can trust myself. I'm quite hardworking when it comes to hardworking. That's how our parents have nurtured and groomed us. And I know very well that if hardworking was all it takes to actually be rich, you won't see my back right now, you see. But that was not all about that, So I was also in a place that there was a cap on how much I could make in terms of income earning, right? So, and I knew that nobody could measure my hard work. You can't actually pay for how much I'm going to be committed to see this happen. I had some great changes happening for my children that were under my care in the classroom like that, but nobody paid me extra for those great changes. You were just placed on a salary, and if it's not that, except you go for promotions and you actually obviously get some little pennies added to your income and all. So it was at that point I knew I needed to look outside the box. Yeah, I knew that this is not how I intend to actually overwork myself and also miss out in my children's precious time. Yeah, so I knew the only thing that would have given me that opportunity was if I had an extra income, which I'm again able to leverage on in terms of timing and build even something bigger than myself, because again, I have to get to the point where I can build it in a way that others are actually in control of it, not 100% me.
Yeah,
and then
it
it gives me that security to be flexible with my time and all. And that's what Genistar actually brought to the table. So my life was one of those ones caged, I didn't go wherever I wanted to go to. I wasn't making as much as income as I thought I deserved. I was also not being recognized. Don't forget that, because I think that's the one that probably did the whole job, because I'm a very excited person. You can tell. Yeah. So why wouldn't you say thank you to me for getting this thing done? So there was no recognition. Okay, yeah, you did it. You are supposed to do that. So but when I came into Genistar, right, I was seeing it was a shock that you get recognized for making an income.
The littlest
for making an income into my own pocket. How, it was a bit strange. Is that your money, So that was one of the things that got me really, really excited and said, okay, someone is recognizing your effort here. And beyond that, you're making impact on people that are also saying, you know what, I see you and I recognize what you're doing. So
wow.
Yeah,
so you moved from, this one is not even double, you know that I have a legal background, right?
Yeah,
There's something called double jeopardy.
Oh, there
but
she goes.
Double jeopardy is when you suffer the wrong and you still bear the consequence of the wrong that you did not do, right?
Yeah.
Now, so you're trying to say that what you suffered before was not even double, because it was triple.
Oh,
lack of
quadruple would have been a better way to describe it.
And then you now move to a 360-degree change and you are absolutely enjoying stuff now.
Don't even say 360. 180, because that's taking me back to where I came
that's
from.
True.
180.
180.
That's better. Thank you.
So you're the other way,
Yeah.
which is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, and that then takes us to the next segment, which is actually doing.
Yeah.
So once you said
Action.
yes,
That's
you
it.
said yes.
When you say yes, you're going to get on that first step.
Yeah.
So many things begin to fly up.
What was your first week like?
First week as an entrepreneur.
First weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
From hiding in the toilet?
Yeah, hiding. She said that, because honestly, because you know what it's like when you're working. Obviously, you can't have your phone and pick calls, and when you eventually need to. That's why it's called a restroom, isn't it? When you eventually need to use the restroom, then you get to catch up with the world, what's happening. So what was my first week like? I wouldn't say to you it was all rosy. It wasn't, because because I've just gotten into something new. I have been an entrepreneur, don't get me wrong, but not in the very structured form of it, unlike people that have got so much experiences as business people and all that. Yeah. I've been that kind of person that I think I'm better off rendering services and you pay me what you think.
Wow.
So yeah, and this is one of the things that also surprises people when I say, oh, Rose M for money, so I say that to people assertively now. I will do this for you, you will pay me this. There are no two ways about it, because I now grew from just anything to this is what I deserve. Yes, this is what the value is. And that's because when I got started, I just started off learning. It's a new space. You've got to have an open mind to learn. You've got to build your confidence, and that's the first thing when people take first steps, because that's one of the things I find out that it makes them to also even give up without even getting to the end of it, because they found out that they thought they could isolate themselves and figure it all out. But no success is achieved in isolation, right? So I actually got some mentorship. Yep. And in our kind of business, you have mentors. You have people that have gone ahead of you, that have gone through that path. It's almost like apprenticeship, right?
Yeah.
So people learn that and they come back to teach you. So you are learning from their mistakes. And they are shortening the journey for you. So, but your response to that, and that's my response, I was quite coachable to the process, because remember, what do you know if you are new in a system? Just like in your jobs, I call it JOB, all right? So you need to learn, because you've taken that first step doesn't mean everything will align. You've got to also open your mind to allow yourself to be coached, to people that have gone a little bit ahead, especially when it comes to businesses. You need to also put yourself in a community, because in the African culture, we usually say that children are not raised just by their parents. It takes a community to raise a child, right? So if you also find yourself in in a business environment, connect with the community, plug into the trainings that would help you to, get better, get bigger, and you thrive. What you don't know, I usually say to people, is bigger than you. But if you begin to know that, then you are now older in that aspect of life. And that's what really helped me. But starting off initially, yeah. It was a bit of here and there.
It's amazing how sitting on this table, our stories are pretty like a paradox.
I know.
It's very different.
I know. That's it.
Because for me, once I said yes, the truth is I used 360 degrees. Well, it was a parallel line, because where I was busted, not knowing whatever, then I had a chance meeting, and it really did resonate with me because of my past experience. And from the day I said yes, I would say I was fortunate enough that the season I came into the business was just about the time where a big event was about to happen. And that also talks about the power of strategic connections and all of that. Yeah. So I came in, and the next week, my executive vice president said, oh, there's a convention. Come over to London. My first response, to be honest, was like, London.
I know.
That's like 3 hours away from me.
If you're far north,
3 hours away from me. And like I mentioned previously, my daughter was pretty poorly. But she said, don't worry, just come. It will change your business. And don't worry, I'll give you a free ticket. Well, that was a catch. That's one of the things I like about our company. They incentivize you to do stuff that is even for your own good. So I said, but the reality of the situation is, I said, okay, eventually I'll come. But it means I had to bring my daughter along, as she was not doing too great there. In fact, she came directly out of hospital. That's another thing. Let your why be bigger than your excuses. Life will throw things at you. There would always be things why you shouldn't.
That's right.
I did, and I got there. And boy, like they say, now we are part of it. The electrifying energy in the room from when I stepped in. The genuineness of the warmth that I felt. Now, coming from a sector where you are always looking behind you and, walking on ice, walking on your toes to ensure that something doesn't drop. So where people genuinely were so happy to see you, like they've known me all their life. And I'm like, really?
Wow.
There's all of it. Then listening to people. I came in just as you guys were about being recognized,
I know.
you were one of them. You were the EVP there, and I saw everybody dancing. I'm like, and
what's
going on here with the, I'm like, okay, this is the kind of place I like to be. This is a breath of fresh air. Then listening to how people, had just in 1 year, 3 months, went from being broke and busted and not knowing anybody to actually being an executive vice president in a financial company.
Yeah.
I just said, okay, auntie, you have a first degree in law, you have an MBA.
Yeah.
What are you doing with your life and how much are you earning?
Yeah.
And then it just dawned on me that I should actually plug in and be a part of it. And in 30 minutes, yes, it took 30 minutes. And that's the power of decision.
Yeah.
I turned to my EVP and said to her, I said, in next year's convention, I'll be working on that stage as an executive vice president. And that is where we are today.
Yeah. And to be honest, just to add to what you've said, Onyinye, do you know that research actually has it that small actions create very huge momentum faster than big plans? Because when just in line with all of these first steps we're talking about, when people are looking to take massive action before they actually get on, and they are looking down, like, almost like a builder who wants to construct this fill up the whole place with an estate, and you're looking, let's get all the sanding, let's get all the. They actually sit down and just draw up a plan on paper, and everything on that paper becomes a reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the things we found with ourselves, right? We just sat down and said to ourselves, you know what, let's get this started.
Yeah.
You don't know how. You don't need to even actually know all the hows.
Yeah.
Okay.
And which is the beautiful thing about our business model. We don't load people with all the processes when you come in. We take it in baby steps, baby bites, and we keep moving on from there. And that way people don't get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely. And your skills, your confidence, everything goes. You see people mirroring these things.
That's right.
And you are never left alone.
Yeah. And I like that. When you were speaking, you also made a mention about a big event. And that's what actually even propelled your action and really made it to be quite massive. And I think we've got one of those big events, and this is our opportunity to invite you guys, all right? We've got one of those massive events happening for us on the 13th and the 14th
of March.
2026.
You can't be anywhere else. Come on.
I mean, we usually say to our audience, if you want to know a place called Birmingham, okay, so you need to be somewhere in Birmingham, and that's the Vox, isn't it? In Resort Center.
Very sweet.
Okay, so at some point, I'm sure you will get some links underneath here where you can scan and find yourself in that event. Okay, if you are lonely, if you are still thinking of the first steps to take, if you are one of those ones that you feel broke, busted, how does Onyinye say it now?
Broke, busted, frustrated, and angry.
Frustrated and angry. It's okay. Let that anger bring you to that environment. It's a very positive, electrifying environment. My first convention, talking about recognition, I kept being called as the third position. Wow. And I usually go with my family, for events and all that. So my son particularly kept going, Why is third? You always say to us that third is not a number. It's either you're number one or there's no you. So why are you being, to be honest, all the third kept coming to me. I'm like, what an embarrassment. But from a child's heart and all that, I went back. There couldn't have been anywhere I could have really motivated myself if it was not that environment. There's a lot of positive competition happening, the healthy ones, where people are actually giving you the opportunity to be the best of yourself, the best version of yourself. I came back to that particular convention. You saw me properly prepared. There was no third anymore. Yeah. It was all first. And each time I got that, I go to my son, what does this say? This is first. Okay. So he validated exactly what it is that we say to them to do. So guys, what we are saying to you is that those actions, how little they can actually be, would actually help you to get yourself announced. All right. If you're one of those ones that you felt maybe sidetracked, you felt, nobody has really recognized the efforts you put in, why don't you come around in that environment and you get to rub, some of these things will rub off on you. Some of our excitement, some of the things we have quite warm. And you would find your space. You will find your voice, most importantly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come around the barber shop. You get a haircut.
Oh, yeah. That's absolutely correct. I think this is where we will now be winding down a little bit. And this bit is where we want to talk about what's first steps unlocks. We kind of got into it a little bit, didn't we? So, and that's more like the impacts. What sort of example? So how has taking that first step changed the way you see yourself?
Oh God, my life has changed.
You guys are gonna
my life has changed
right now. That's true.
From the broke, busted, angry one to one who is in control. It's one of the things this business has afforded me is a holistic lifestyle change.
That's right.
My money is not a problem. Well, like a lot of us, a lot of you listening to me, right? You are only ever buoyant on the day your salary comes in.
Yeah.
Then when the debit alerts go, by the next week, you're already like, oh God, what is the next?
Tell me about deep breath. Deep breath.
When is the next? And that's why a lot of people are tensed, angry, and anxious.
Yeah.
Right? So money is never a problem because we run our business, number one, from the comfort of where we are. Number two, at our own time.
Yeah.
At our own pace, your own schedule, and wherever you are.
Yeah.
Right? And we get paid on a weekly basis. So first things first, time freedom. Secondly, financial freedom. You see, I'm looking fine, right?
Yeah.
This is not how I was last year.
Look at that.
This is not how I was last year.
Mm-hmm.
And all-round confidence. Now, you mentioned the impact it has on the children.
Yeah.
For me, that's another thing that I am so grateful for. I remember this time last year, my daughter walked up to me and said, Mommy, I don't like this journey we did because, like I said, I just upped and came to the UK.
Yeah.
And then I previously ran a very successful business, was in control, had a lot of things, and suddenly come into this new jurisdiction and we're doing where to more gathered, right? Scraping and scrapping, living paycheck to paycheck. So for a child to genuinely say, I don't like this move we make because, before anything, she's the apple of my eyes, basically. As long as it's reasonable, she asks for anything, she gets it. And this time around, I'm like, we can't, maybe we'll plan 2 months after. And she's like, I don't like this, no. But guess what now, man? She gets whatever she wants as long as it's reasonable.
Yeah.
So, and it's especially for children, a young girl, it's important that they know they can get whatever they want and is reasonable from home. So that has helped. It has shored up her confidence level.
Yeah.
Because playing the role of father and mother is really not easy, right? Yeah. My desire had always been like she shouldn't miss. Yes, there's still a void I cannot fill. But when it comes to what provision, I can provide for, she shouldn't feel the impact of her father not being there. Yeah. And this is what this business has really done for me. Then beyond me, it's so, I don't think I have the words to put into, to explain how it feels that it's not just about you, but there are other people who, because you made that decision and you are succeeding, are also going along that path. Yeah. From my team members who also, money is not a problem for them anymore.
That's right.
To the families that we have touched their lives. Yeah. We have transformed things. Yeah. Even people who grew up in this country, that were born in this country, that have been in financial mess, that did not even know that there was a way to structure themselves and compound and build wealth. Yeah. So I can't, if I was to tell you everything, we would not live here today.
And that is absolutely true. I'm just gonna tie into that one just to affirm a bit more on what you've said with regards to the impact this has also had. And this is a company that has given us opportunity to actually thrive. I like the way you really talked about it, because in one of the occasions, and just like she said to you guys, we actually make money on a weekly basis because, it's obviously you are the one it's like you're signing a blank check, okay? So you put how much you want to earn in there. But that's not because we are just having money raining down from trees and all. That's because we are providing very sensitive and sensible service to our clients. And this has, what's business like? Business is where you're providing solutions and then you are now being paid for it. Yeah. So this has impacted a lot. In fact, one of my best times when I actually feel very satisfied that I took this first step was one of the weeks where I had close to 20 persons in my team being paid from between £50 to 1,200. And I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about team members. All right. Now, this is a place I would not have had that opportunity or the capacity to do something and also invite other people to come and do it. And they are making some sensible, significant extra income with that. I actually broke down that day because, somehow I was like, wow, so this is how far we've gone. And this is because I said yes, to this. I decided, you know what, I'm just going to take this first step. And I don't know how it's all going to happen or it's going to come together, but it's been a step-by-step journey. What is holding you back from taking that first step right now? It might just be that there are other lives that you're going to be impacting on if you don't take that step. And also client-wise, the services we render is one of those passionate ones. You've had your own experience around that. And, you don't need to have an experience before you actually help others around it. So it's quite amazing when I get those feedbacks and reviews from clients and they say, oh, it was successful. I was able to make a claim on this and that. And that makes me very exciting. There's no better time. There's no better feeling like that sort of thing. So, yeah.
Okay, so just like you have said, one of the impacts of taking this first step is, I'm a very ambitious person in my assertions.
Yeah.
I say that I am the voice of the modern immigrants, right?
Yeah.
Taking this first step has shown the possibilities that you don't need to be stuck. One of the things that hits you is like I said before, there is this glass ceiling that you hit where you think you just have to go the way everybody else is, do what everyone else is doing. Yeah. And of course, you get the same results. Yeah. And when you try to step out of it, you meet with that force keeping you down. One of what this has shown is an example to say you can do it. You can step out of the norm. You can take the first step. You can take the risk.
That's right.
Step out in faith, go beyond your fears and actually succeed. And others can see that, this can be replicated. Yeah. And you can then go beyond and just do it. So that for me has been so phenomenal. And it's not just bragging and talk, it's actually working the talk. Then replicating the same thing, duplicating myself, seeing those who came along this journey with me, also having that same financial feel. Like I said, I think, people need to know that feeling you felt when you see, there was a time we had this recognition session and my management exchange was saying how, because we went to school together. She was somebody who would never say anything in class, who would never do all of that. Now she's bold, she can talk. And she's saying that, she no longer worries about money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There was such a lot of doubt she had around her that now her spouse sees her as meaningfully contributing. That is so significant. Wow. That is so significant. Then your children also know that mommy is doing something really impactful. And it's not just one person, several people. That's right. Several people in such an atmosphere of joy, and nobody is eating on the other person.
No pressure.
You're not being
together. Pressured.
That is so ethereal. That is so awesome. And see, I'm sure you're wondering what are they you're talking about. You can only know if you come.
That's right. And just putting it out there for anyone who is still wobbly in their steps. Okay, you just need to get up and get going. Whatever decision it is that you are actually at the moment still wondering, how do I get on? Think no more. That's the essence of these conversations we are having with you today. Okay, just get up and get it done. Usually, if you fail, then you failed fast, right? And then you can learn a lesson from it and you can fail forward, right? I like that. Fail fast and fail forward. Wow, that's a good one. Okay, there you go. So that's another side to it. And just in closing, Onyinye, if you were to have someone that is listening to us right now, I want you to, and the person is kind of at the edge, on should I not, the indecision side of things that get a hold of us, what would you say to them with regards to taking that first tiny step?
I know for most of us, there is a decision, there's something you've been thinking about. Just do it. Yeah. Number one, impossibility is truly nothing. If it's a course that hasn't been chatted before, you actually could open up a new world of possibilities.
do it afraid. Do it with your fears, with all your doubts. Why don't you prove it? Because the truth is, if you take that step, you just may succeed. But like I always say, seek knowledge, be strategic about the step. Yeah. But do not let analysis paralysis cripple you. Because the truth is, if you don't do it, you have already failed.
That's right.
So take the step, irrespective of where you are. Even if you think that, I don't think this is what it is. I've lost time. I can't. Yeah. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. I am a testament of the fact that you can actually take that step and do it and accomplish it fast. And even if you are not, your life, you see, your calendar is yours.
Yeah.
Just make progress. I tell people, you are not a tree. Move.
Yes. Stationary.
Move.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's it really, guys. Just to say to you that you don't have to have it all figured out. You really don't have to. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to start a conversation. You can just start with a hello, hi, okay? And just ask 1 or 2 questions. And someone, in fact, 1, 2, 3 steps may actually be the one right in front of there to guide you and say to you, oh, why don't you take this direction? Why don't you? So it's we always say that a closed mouth is a closed destiny, okay? So you have to really, really be ready to speak up and take that step. And the journey doesn't really change your life all at once, but the first step absolutely can, okay? So let's get you really, really locked in this first step, because we are in January, which is the first month of 2026. Look at that. And we like to call it the Just Do It January, okay? That's it. So yeah, so thank you so much for joining us today on this Financial Freedom for All. Join us next time for more ideas about mastering your money and living your dream. It's been an exciting conversation today, and we want to see you at the top, because the crowd, the low part is really crowded. Okay, thank you and God bless.
Thank you.